Welcome to Season 10 of CX in the Wild. 10 seasons of conversations with the visionaries who are reshaping the world, one experience at a time. This season, we go further into the minds of those who challenge the status quo and reimagine what's possible. And now, the adventure continues.
Hi, welcome back to CX in the Wild. This is the second edition of our Miami podcast after being here for the IQPC show. I am here with Pat. We are going on an adventure to explore the future of customer experience together. I'm collaborating with Birdie AI. As you know, I like to collaborate with innovators or solutions or follow stories that I believe are original content. They provide unique value to the marketplace, and I feel like it's my job to seek out true solutions to customer experience. I'm not really into the hype of just chasing any story, and I definitely this audience is not for sale. We don't just rent it out for whoever has some paycheck. And for that reason, this episode is near and dear to my commitment to you. And it's going to be a little bit different than other conversations we've had, because you're going to hear sort of the evolution and you'll follow the story of our collaboration, what we think we'll bring to the market, and probably the ups and downs of it all. So with that said, thank you for being with us on this special episode. And I'd like to just start with, Pat, can you share for the audience who you are? Like, who are you?
Perfect. All right. Great to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I hope you're having a great time here in our city, Miami. And yeah, I'm Pat Osorio. I'm one of the co-founders of Birdie. I'm originally from Brazil, born and raised in the countryside of Brazil. My parents are doctors, very entrepreneurial, and I think I learned since I was a kid how much work is something that fulfills you, how much work is something that helps you achieve your dreams. And I think I had that always as something that drove me to pursue things that I wanted to deliver value, things that I wanted to do to help others and to fulfill myself. So I'm a person that always tries to look at things that I can do that can help other people get great results, and I can get results to myself. That perspective drove me to moving from Brazil to the US to start Birdie. And what moved us to start Birdie is this feeling as consumers that we are not heard enough by companies that we're using, by solutions that we're using. So you probably had this experience at least a couple times in your life where you were using a product or you were going to a place and having an experience and you were like, oh, this is not right. This should be better. This could be better. And I'm willing to share my opinion. I'm willing to tell what is the problem as a customer that would like to have this improved, that would like to see this working better, not only for myself, but for others. But I don't feel that I'm hurt, but I'm answering surveys, I'm calling customer support, or I'm writing reviews, or I'm telling people what is the problem. And I don't feel that anybody's doing something with that. And that thing was in the back of our heads for a while, from me, from my co-founders, to the point where we said, okay, what is happening? Because companies, if you go and talk to companies, they say, I'm customer-centric. I want to be customer-centric. I'm listening to my customer. I'm investing in understanding what my customer needs. But truth is that, that was not happening to us as consumers. So coming to today, what happened is that we saw that, the problem is that everything in companies is siloed. And if you look at customer experience, if you look at customer support, that's where a lot of the insights, a lot of the intelligence about those experiences that we're having every day is sitting, but it's untapped. Companies are not going to that and are not listening to that to take action, to make changes in the organization. So when looking at that, we said, okay, I think we can help with that. I think we can fix this. And more than that, we want to fix this because, as I said, like we want to drive value for consumers. We want to drive value for companies. We want to make sure that everybody has a win-win relationship. And then our journey, my journey with Birdie started and our journey as a company started. I'm a person who loves to be outdoors. I'm a person who loves to be challenged and to learn from others. And I think that one thing that also relates a lot to my mission with Birdie and a mission as a person is I believe that building great relationships is the basis for everything, is the basis for living a great life, is the basis for delivering value to others. And at the end, that's what I'm here to do. And that's what we're here to do as a company, is help companies and their clients build great relationships based on understanding each other better.
You said so much. And so this history of yours, I find that I align with people who have similar values. And you just mentioned one, empathy as a part of doing business. That is not always, hasn't always been traditionally. In the Industrial Revolution, as people conquered the world, empathy was not an axiom of how people did business. But now that we've realized we're all in this together, empathy and cooperation have become more and more pertinent to the business success of everyone in the world. But even on a more personal level, because I want to have this relationship and collaboration with Birdie, your backstory of watching your parents succeed, right? So success it's really about losing as much as it's about winning. It's about adversity as much as it is about accomplishment. And so when you see a role model or role models with your parents, your mindset is one way. And for me, I came from a little bit different perspective, which is I had to personally overcome a lot of adversity. But the result is success, tangible value, progress is important to the mindset of people like ourselves. And I think what is going to happen here with our collaboration is our perspective, but also your other colleagues. And what you'll find working with my team is everyone on my team, I think, is come from some sort of adversity in a different market around the world. They are ambitious and looking to succeed. And I think your team sounds like it's the same. And what that'll do is translate into value for businesses. That's my hope. Now, you talked about this wealth of information that's within the call center. I feel like this is an opportunity that many, many, many companies, with the recent last 2 years, talk and openness about AI, people have run to this asset. People are looking at it differently. But what I really find amazing about Birdie is in my practice for when I'm doing the work for CX for brands around the world, I don't get caught up in the team building, change management, culture, fluffy sort of hype or one-time impacts for organization. There are a lot of CXers who deliver that indirect value, and it's relevant and it's important. And frankly, it was the thing for many years that was the only thing we could deliver in an organization is activities like journey mapping. But now with AI, we are at the stage where we can deliver direct value, which means the P&L, something that happens at the business that is measurable in terms of the success of the company. I have been doing this for a long time manually, resolving the voice of the customer with the voice of the unknown customer, and applying that to conversational trends, SEO behaviors, social media experiences, and combining those against an annual course of relationship with the revenue. That's really been my approach. But having spoken to you and your team, you've really taken what would take me 100, 200 hours, and you've turned it into almost a click, right?
Yeah.
Talk to us about that, because I know what I do manually, but tell me what's going on at Birdie when you connect all these data sources and bring it into this one-click journey. The way I've been describing it on social media is Birdie helps you discover or reveal the journeys. There's like no more mapping the journeys once Birdie's involved. Is that true?
Going back to even what you mentioned before, I think being from Brazil, Brazil is a country where you see a lot of things that are still late when it comes to when we compare to the US or other countries in the world. But it also has an interesting characteristic where first we learn how to be flexible, and we learn how to face adversity and continue no matter what is the adversity. So we are very, we know how to find our way into things. And we are also a country where a lot of times you go from 0 to 80. So we have this leapfrog effect where, we didn't have any infrastructure. And instead of following the traditional path of going from 0 to 1, from 1 to 2, from 2 to 3, you go from 0 to 5. And you have multiple examples of that from companies that started there and changed how things happen. So I don't know if a lot of people know, for instance, but the concept of Uber actually started in Brazil. It was a company in Brazil that started the idea of asking for a cab from your phone, and because we need to figure out a way of making of finding cars in a city where it's impossible to find cars, where it's dangerous to find cars and stuff. So we are very creative, I would say. Brazilians are very creative. And going back to Birdie, what we saw there and what we every day apply to our business is, how can we do things differently in a way that will really deliver value? And without thinking if something is possible or not. Let's first think where we want to be and what we want to deliver as value, and then let's figure out a way of getting there. I think that's the mindset that has driven us to do what we're doing. And why I'm telling that story is because if you think about CX, and if you think about journey mapping or anything around CX, I feel that a lot of the companies are still thinking about using AI for, I'm not saying the basic, but for the first solution that comes to your mind, which is creating chatbots, automating the response to customers. So it's the obvious solution somehow. And we were okay, this is great. This will deliver a lot of value, but CX is not that, right? CX is much more than that. CX is actually everything in an organization is the customer experience. Is how you're delivering your product, how is the experience of that product, how you're serving the customers, how you're communicating your solutions to customers. And then when we thought about that, we said, okay, we need to build a solution that really elevates CX to what we believe CX should be. And we believe CX should be a driving force for all the organization, a driving force for what a product should have, what should change in the roadmap for a product, how marketing should communicate, how sales should sell a product, how we should position in social media and everything. So that was the idea we had behind starting Birdie. And again, we believe that it all comes from using data that you have at home. Companies have so much data available inside, outside, that they can tap into, and they are not tapping. They are not tapping because it's not easy. It's siloed, it's unstructured. You need to bring it all together. You need to worry about privacy. You need to worry about a bunch of things that are not easy to do, and that's what we think 24/7. We think about how to get all that data together in a way that will drive value. And driving value means exactly how can we automate a lot of the work that executives do And that's very important, but like they don't need to do that work. If we do it for them, they can spend their time thinking about how to change the strategy, thinking about how to deliver a better experience based on the data that we are providing to them. So pretty much what we're doing at Birdie is exactly like collecting data, not only from call centers, because call centers are one of the data sources, but I'm getting data from call centers. I'm getting data from app reviews, from social media. I'm getting data from news. I'm gathering data from behavior, because one thing is what you're saying, but the other thing is what you're doing. One thing is also who you are. It's very different. Like me as a customer and you as a customer, you might be using the same product completely different ways. So if you're able to bring it all together and then correlate and cross-reference all the data, then you'll be able to say, okay, the journey for this customer is like this, the journey for that customer, like the other customer is like that. And you are able to do this, I would say, like almost automatically, because you are able to bring and say, oh, this person who is saying this, or this group of customers who are saying this, are having this experience, are having a friction point right here, and this is what we should change to help them and to avoid that they have this friction point. And all that correlation of data is what we're doing here at Birdie. And we had this conversation. We envision to make it so easy that like from your phone, you can pretty much like, oh, okay, this is a problem that I'm having. This is how I should fix. Oh, I want to fix this. Let's build an initiative to fix that. And by the way, this will help me increase revenue by X%, because Birdie is already telling me all of that. Birdie is telling me what is the problem, how much is impacting the business, which pieces, which segments of my clients is impacting, and what I should do to change that and how. So that's a little bit in a nutshell what we're trying to deliver here.
Now, that so much of that promise is, it's tough even for me as a CX person, because so much of what we just said is what everyone else is saying. And if you're listening to what we're saying, it might sound very similar. So I want to pick out some of these tiny nuances that you said that are not in the other talk tracks.
Mm-hmm.
The correlation or the cross section of the data, it's where all of these data pieces intersect. So what a lot of companies are selling right now is, we will look at your data and look through it and give you business value from your data. But that's not where the value is. The value is you have the data, but if you cannot compare it to like social data, there's no point of reference for the truth. Your data in one place is an echo chamber, and it'll tell you hallucinations. And I'll tell you, having Birdie be able to look at news and look at reviews and look at social media, this set also contains your unknown customers. And it's the combination of your unknown and your known customers. It's that intersection that you're talking about. That's where the revenue insights are. And for Birdie to be able to have a system that has standards, protocols, governance. So that's really what you're talking about. You're talking about the academic use of data in the context of governance and protocols, legislation. So a lot of your expertise is about data handling.
Yeah.
The result of that is there is an ecosystem of data all over the world, of which, depending on which intersections are important or more important for an industry, a vertical, a customer, your AI will allow the business to sort of shop for the right fit. Or what I like about Birdie, if I'm understanding it correctly, and I'm going with you for the next few weeks to find out more of this, but what the AI does is it also helps the business person, the product person, the salesperson, the marketing person, the CFO, also helps them have an intersection with the data. So what Birdie does is, and I love the name, I want to get into why this name is, but it's like in the United States, we have this saying, a little birdie told me, which is like this piece of truth somebody whispered in your ear. Your core strength of, if it is your core strength of governance and handling of the data, your perception of a wider set of data that brings a relevance and an authenticity to the analysis, and your analysis being able to connect a customer and a product, or a marketing person to a problem, or a finance person to a gap. These are the things that are running through my mind. How, because as we explore together here in Miami, but also we're going to San Francisco to talk to some of your other partners. We're going to go down to Brazil to meet your technologists and see what you've done there. How much of the way I described it would you say is accurate, or can you correct my thinking on that?
No, it's pretty accurate. So, and I have a couple of examples maybe that can help highlight that. So we have, for instance, one customer that was trying to understand churn. My clients are leaving, why they're leaving, and with Birdie, it's very easy to slice the data. And when you said that, our core is exactly being able to get a bunch of data and slice and dice in different ways to get different answers. That's exactly what we're investing mostly in right now. And for this client specifically, we were able to, in seconds, in just with a couple of filters, they were able to pretty much look at the data and say, oh, churning customers are complaining about completely different things than the ones that are sticking with me, especially if I look at specific subsegments. So they were able to see that churning customers were among customers that were upgrading to a different product, that were in a specific subset of industry, and that the problems that they were having were happening about 2-3 months before they churned. And that was all something that they could pretty much almost asking a question. The answer was there. They just needed to know what was the right question to ask. And actually, that's an interesting thing. I feel that the way that the world is changing is now you need to be much more worried about asking the right questions, or asking the question that you want. And if you have a powerful engine on the back, running on the back, like we're building Birdie, the answer will come. So the answer will be there because you're asking the question and we're correlating the data to tell you the answer to that specific problem. So for this specific client, again, before Birdie, they were running analysis and they were looking at problems that were major problems, that were really problems that were happening across the organization and that clients were facing, but there were not the problems that were correlated to churn. They were problems that were common among probably most of their clients. But again, looking at the specific subset of clients that were churning, they could invest a lot of money, loads of money in fixing those problems. Those clients would still continue to churn. And if you're looking at the wrong data, or if you're asking the wrong questions, the answer will not be there. So that's one example of how correlating the data in a good way and in the right way and at the right moment can help you. With this client specifically, they're able to reduce more than 25% of churn in the first 6 months after they discovered the problems with Birdie and started solving the problems there. And just going back to the name that you mentioned, that's exactly the thought behind creating Birdie. So when we decided to start the company, we said we want to be the messengers of, not the truth, but the messengers of what should be done, the messages of this is the right information, or this is what you need to do. And we wanted to bring this idea of I'm making communication and collaboration flow to make sure that the right information is getting to the right person so they can take the right action at the right time. And the little birdie told me had a little bit of all of that, so we decided to use that name and we thought it was also a fun and relatable name for us to keep with the organization.
Well, all right, it's spot on. Yeah. When you talk about this churn piece, I think a good analyst, a good BI person in an organization could sit down and find the churn. I think that I think that there are smart people in organizations that can do that. And I think in the last 5 years, there has been quite a bit of dashboard building. So there is a lot of business intelligence that is leveraging the data. So for me, the question is, why Birdie? And for my audience, I talk to people every day. It's literally what I do. I listen to people tell these stories and utilize technologies, and there is so much copycatting or rushing to an opportunity because I'm often talking to tech companies. There's always so much change and opportunity and blue sky. And I'm not sure that the story really is that you solved the churn. I think if you really look, the churn, the benefit that Birdie gives to the churn conversation is that I don't think you needed a lot of business analysts to get you there. I think that in the speed that it took you to solve the churn problem, you probably could have also shared within that same hour of conversation, here are maybe 2 or 3 or 4 other possibilities. And then an executive said, let's focus on churn. Is that what happened?
Yeah, that's exactly the way that it works. So pretty much like in Birdie, like you can say, what is your goal? What you're looking to do? And then we'll tell you options of like, oh, if you want to reduce churn, these are a couple of things that you can do. But if you want to increase satisfaction, this is what you can do. Or if you want to increase, like we have another example with a client that was a bank. If you want to increase account principality, so engagement, usage pretty much, these are the things that are preventing people from using. These are the things that are happening when people stop using. So you have like options. All you need to do as an executive is know like what is your goal, what you need to tackle, what you want to tackle, and then Birdie will give you options and even tell you like, oh, this option can help you increase satisfaction by X points, NPS. This other option will help you increase a little bit less, but will also impact in cost or will also impact in revenue. So you have like, I think at the end, what we deliver as a solution is like, we make sure that you can make informed decisions, knowing the whole picture, not like, oh, this is the only information that I have, or this is anecdotal data that I have. I need to believe in that, and I need to go and make a decision, or like, especially for product people, oh, this is what I think it needs to be done. So I will not rely on the data. I will need that. So we make sure that we provide the data. Of course, the decision is still with the client, but we're giving them like all the information they need of what is the problem, what is impacting, who is it impacting, what else is correlated to that maybe if you address that, you could impact something else. So we give you the whole scenario and multiple scenarios, if you will. So you can say, oh, all right, this is something I want to do. And I know, or at least I have an estimate of how much you impact my business. And more than that, at the end, you can later measure the results. So it helps you like prove, okay, this was I expecting to achieve. And wow, I did achieve that, or I achieved less, or I achieved more. Why? So we help you like do, and we believe a lot. And most of what we build in Birdie is around the concept of continuous improvement. So it's not something like that we will do once. Companies are ever evolving. The relationships with customers are ever evolving. So we are making sure that we're listening to the customer all the time, that we're measuring what they're saying all the time and correlating the data all the time. So if you look at a photo today, it's going to be different from the photo from yesterday. And more than that, we're telling you a story. We're not showing you a picture. You're telling you what is happening.
This is why I want to collaborate with you, because I think I will bring some new language to your organization. So here's what I hear. All of that, yes, I've heard a lot of people say similar things, but what's different is you're really creating a shopping cart for business intelligence. An executive can go on, a product person can go on and shop. I'm looking for product improvements for the organization that And they can literally, what you're really doing is creating a shopping cart for product teams, for different kinds of sales executives. So rather than get into all of the details, the bottom line is your distinct POV is you're going to create, I would not say you're not the Uber of customer experience, but you are kind of like the Amazon of customer experience. Your engine goes out, sees what the problems are. I come in, I say I'm shopping for men's clothes, I'm shopping for household items, I'm shopping for travel. But in Birdie's case, I come on and say I'm a product person shopping for different opportunities to improve my business, and they're surfaced. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, no, that's a great analogy. I love it.
So that's why I love this collaboration. Now, let me take it one step further. Everybody is overwhelming executives. The bottom line is most of these tools everywhere are just a complete problem. And the reason is it's information overload. No executive can consume this. And because you have the, metaphorically speaking, the shopping cart of product or sales intelligence, when someone hits click and they start the initiative, what Birdie does, and correct me if I'm wrong, is it sets a baseline. So that baseline in time starts the journey you're talking about. And that baseline setting is what gives you the point of perspective for the performance and the changes across the organization, teams, customers, seasons, investments, changes. So you have that, the story you're talking about is really about the distance moving away from the baseline. So there's that. What I also think is important that you spoke about is businesses will improve and they will go up and down. It's just an inevitable part of it. So it isn't always the story of growth. It's the story of decline and how we observed it relative to our original starting point and how we can adjust. And if Birdie is continuously monitoring, it helps you harmonize the change that goes in your organization as markets shift and customers change. And finally, that piece of it, I don't think this is just me talking. I don't think Birdie's strength is solving business problems. I don't think it's identifying business problems. I don't think it's the story of the business problem. I think if I follow this story through to Birdie, I suspect one of the things I'll find is that Birdie is a new era of technology that creates sustainability for a business during changes around them. So as external forces impact a business, without a point of reference and a tool like Birdie, you'll be tossed around in the tornado. But with Birdie, you'll have a chance to stay sustainable as a business offering to the world.
Yeah, no, I love that. And some things came to my mind, like I think that in the world we are today, like with so much competition and so many new things happening and like being launched, our expectations, our customers are higher and higher. And something that I love today, maybe tomorrow, like I will expect more because of a competitor or because of something that I saw. And as you said, like all of us, like we have so much information. So the information overload is a problem. And it kind of slows decision making or makes us make decisions that are not like the best ones because we have so much that we don't know what to do and we just go with something. And I think one of the values that we give is like we give time and we give like confidence. So we give you time, like, and we accelerate your speed to delivering value because we are like removing all that information overload from you and telling you like, oh, these are a couple of things for what you need right now. And we give you like that confidence as a product person or as a customer experience person, as a salesperson that, oh, of course, like based on all the information that I have, and with Birdie you have a lot, but Birdie is telling me that this is what I can do. And these are the possible solution, the possible outcomes, and the possible results that I can get, so I can make a decision and launch something faster and iterate faster and do product discovery faster, and to really continue to tap into the data that exists. And as you said, like to drive sustainability, see if this is something that happened in the past or if this is something that is changing because of a competitor. We have cases of clients where they had a sudden drop in satisfaction in that case, and they noticed that, that was coming because a competitor launched a different product, a new product, and now my clients are comparing me to that product. And knowing that and having this history of like, this 1 year ago was great, but now it's not as great because I need to up level again, and having like, again, easy access to that in seconds, I think it gives a lot of value. It provides a lot of value, not only to CX, because again, we believe customer experience is all over the company, but to anybody that needs to make a decision and wants to make an informed decision, and a decision that will impact the customer and will impact the results of the business in the best way possible.
As you said that, I think you exposed why my core reason why I want to follow this story with you and learn all I can about your business. And thank you for this, transparent access to you as a founder, to your other founders, to your teams, to be able to go around the world and see firsthand and not just hear your sales pitch. And I want the audience to feel this. I think in my heart, I'm hoping collaborating with you will close a chapter in my history of business that was one of the most humbling moments, which was, and this is me and my personal journey, but I got fascinated by all the data. So when I saw all the data starting to come up in the world, and then I can still remember the day I saw Tableau for the first time, and I was like, oh my God, we can see all of this data. Like, up until then, I had one guy I worked with in the business. He was the BI guy, and only he understood what was happening with the business. And when I saw these dashboards, I was like, oh my God, we can learn so much. And then after that, my first Tableaus, data intelligence, I tried to be that BI guy, and I tried to be strategic, and then I had some success and my head got big and I thought I was good at business strategy, and there was more data, more tools. I was getting excited. And then I realized if I looked back in time, a year over a year, I could start to see trends. And guess what? Not only could I see them, I was predicting with real accuracy what was happening. And so just at the height of my hubris, boom, COVID happened. And there was no data in the past that would have informed any of my decisions going forward. Like, for me, I went from, I'm the smartest guy in the world and I figured out the solution, to none of this, this isn't it. Mm-hmm. And then I think where I'm at now is with Birdie. You're not looking at the past to find the future, which is what I was doing. You're looking at the present and trying to navigate from the present forward. So you've moved from being that guy who has all the data and all this intelligence to someone or a point in the present where data is relevant today and helps you with this sustainability. If Birdie was running at a company where I had access to the data, the minute COVID started to take place and we rolled into those first 2 weeks, I would be able to look through Birdie's lenses and I would probably be able to see geographical intelligence. I might be able to see conversational intelligence, height of sentiment concern, shifting legislation discussions, and correlate that with the impact of communities or my audiences. And that situational awareness that gives me not the historical customer journey, but what does the customer journey right now look like, and what might it look like based on what we see? Is that what I'm going to find when I travel with you to San Francisco next week and then to Brazil? Are these the things? Am I on that journey?
I would say yes, of course. Like, we are still a work in progress in a couple of things. Like, we're also learning as it happens. We're also learning with the data, and we are relying on a lot of the things that we are seeing and of the things that we are experiencing with our customers. But the short answer is like, yes, that's what we're building. That's what we're the direction we're heading. And again, we believe like you can't like predict the future completely, but you can learn from the data that's available right now to make the most informed decision based on what you have right now. So I think that's what we're looking to build. And more than that, we don't like, and we want to help companies avoid, I would say, one is the HIPPO, like the highest paid person opinion, and that's what we're going for. Like, no, we need to have information, data to help us at least challenge something, or at least like say why we're doing something. So we want to end up with like, oh, we want to do this because we want to do this. And the second, and you mentioned Tableau, and that came to my mind, like one of the things that we're doing differently from most companies that we saw right there, and we saw there, and like even those big players like Tableau, like everybody's used to, and I think most organizations is still like, even though they say they don't, they want to have like big dashboards, like those TVs with a lot of numbers that everybody's looking at, but nobody's using to make decisions. And when we started, we said we don't want to be another company that is delivering a bunch of dashboards, a bunch of reports that nobody knows how to use. And it's funny that, of course, we're learning, going back to that, we're learning as we're doing. We try to like go completely away from having dashboards. So like the first experience in Birdie was like, I don't have a dashboard, just like I have in all the organizations with like bar graphs and bubble graphs and like all of that. It's much more focused on like, oh, let me help you find the problems. Let me tell you how big those problems are, and then you can go from it. And we're learning that, yes, clients still want the dashboard. So like now we're going in a direction where, oh, if you want the dashboard, you can have the dashboard. That's not what we recommend. That's not what we think that's going to help you make the decisions. But here it is, because a lot of people still want to use that to put in a report or in an executive report or like in a TV, as you said. But more than that, we're trying to give you, and again, going back to a little birdie told me, we want to give you the information you need to make the decision at that moment. So we're building experiences where our clients don't even need to enter in Birdie to get the answer to the question they want, to get the information that they need to make a decision. If you use Slack, you can ask a question in Slack, and Birdie will tell you the answer to that question. And Birdie will tell you who is having that problem. Birdie is telling you what you should do based on the information that you have. If you're using Teams, you can do it in Teams. If you're using like another platform, like you can do it. So we want to democratize access to the voice of customer and to the behavior of the customer and to what the customer needs. Because again, like we believe that customer experience is a part of every decision, should be a part of every decision in company. So the best way of making sure that decisions happen using the voice of customer as a reference is making sure that it's available no matter where companies want to use it. We want to deliver the most frictionless experience as we can. And again, that can be with a dashboard if you want, with a Tableau. You can send the data from Birdie to Tableau to your Power BI or whatever. Or it can be like, oh, I'm on my phone. I'm just opening, asking a question, and Birdie's telling me the answer. And then with that, I can decide what to do next, which can be asking more questions, looking at past data, trying to get like information from the news that's corroborating the data or not. So it goes in that path.
Well, to your point, it's all a journey and evolution. We'll learn as we go. So for the audience, we're embarking on an adventure together. I met with you here. I'm headed off to meet with your other founder and interview even your investors to discuss with them what their belief in value is. And you've opened transparently, but then we're going together to Brazil so we can talk to your teams. And I think the story that I want to bring is not about the offering of Birdie to the marketplace. It's not about selling Birdie. It's not about being right today for a price point. It's about following the journey of innovators that I think are authentically entering the marketplace from a position of direct value. And this direct value that provides a sense of stability, continuity, immediate perspective for business in the present, and introduces a control of sustainability for a business. The external forces on customers and businesses around the world is accelerating. And for that reason, I want to stay close to and follow innovators and stories that I believe are truly the path to a global economy based on behavioral economics that give a soul back to corporations and harmonize the relationship between people and brands around the world. So that's why I'm following this story. But I'm curious, what do you want me to follow, or what is your goal in collaborating with me over this next journey, this next 6 months?
Great question. I think going back to the beginning, I believe a lot in relationships. I believe a lot in delivering value. I believe a lot in connecting with people with similar values than you have. And I feel that we got this from you right from the beginning, right? As you said, you like to talk about a lot of your authenticity, and you're very authentic. You're a person that is going beyond looking only at the places that everybody's looking. Because if you think about CX, especially here in the US, a lot of people are US centric, I would say. So I'm only looking at the US, and only the things that happen here are great. And I love that you're challenging this, and you're looking everywhere in the world, and looking at alternatives, good options, things that are maybe happening in a different way that are could be done here and could be done in a better way. So I like the way that you're challenging those barriers and going beyond. And I feel that this collaboration for us was we want to be part of that. We want to be part of building something where we have somebody that is authentic, that believes in relationships, that believes that great things can come from different places, and that is exploring those places to see what's happening and really find the best in class, no matter where it is, to share this best practice with everyone. And we see that you're one of the few people that looks at CX as it should be, which is not only support, not only call centers, not only serving the customer in the front line, building chatbots and saying that is customer experience. And you look at customer experience as business. Customer experience for me is business, is delivering value. And I like that you talk a lot about that. So we're expecting to learn from you, to learn from this mindset, to learn from what you're learning from all over the world. And of course, to make sure that we're building a product that is delivering the value that we want to deliver. We have cases in the past where clients were not using Birdie the way it should be used, and they were not getting value out of it. And we were the first ones to tell them, come on, if that's how you're expecting to use this product, if that's how you're expecting to be with us, it doesn't make sense. We're not delivering value to you. This relationship is not going to last. We prefer to be truthful and stop it right now, and you stop spending money with us expecting that you'll get somewhere that you won't. And And that's how we want to build relationships. We want to build relationships where both parts are benefiting. And if you think like that's what we're trying to deliver to companies as a business. We want to make sure that these companies are getting value, but they are delivering value to their customers as well. So they're listening to their customers. They're understanding what customers are liking, what customers are having as positive and negative experiences. And they're using that to build their product and to give to their customers again and to learn from them again and to have this like continuous evolving circle of like improvement that will at the end benefit both parts. And I see that you operate in the same way that we do. Like you have the same belief like of collaborating and learning. And of course, like the life is the journey, working is the journey. So like building this journey with you and like having fun while we do this and learning and like having those moments is also a lot of like what we're expecting to have.
Well, I'm expecting to have a lot of fun. I've never been to Brazil, but I think that I know Brazil is a history of different kinds of fun, but I think with Birdie, you will open my eyes to the fun of experiencing the innovation in the business sectors there. I know that is something that you've shared that you'll open my eyes to. Thank you so much for this episode. It's the initial episode as we go on the Birdie journey together. And thank you so much for coming to this studio. And I hope we're going to be back here doing regular updates for the audience.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you shouldn't come in July, but apart from that, like you'll love being here and I hope you come much more.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for being part of this journey with us. We hope these conversations challenge your thinking and inspire you to explore new paths. There's so much more to discover. Keep listening, dive into more episodes, and let's continue this adventure together.